Welcome to Quick Chats, where we have professionals from the wellness space. And today we have with us Sam, who is a women's life coach and author of the book Finding Joy in Transitions. So, hi Sam, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Yasmin. Thanks for inviting me and having me here.
Yeah, we are glad you're here. And Sam, I understand that you help your clients through life transitions, right? And you have actually mentioned about this in your book as well. Could you tell us a bit more about your work in this area?
Yes, I am so happy to share with you about transition. So this is a very uncommonly known fact that transitions and change is actually different. And a lot of my clients actually find it very interesting to find that there is a difference. So briefly, change is extrinsic. So it's on the outside, external forces. You could have changed a job and that is an external change. Or you are pregnant now, or you have a baby. That's really external, right? So, but what transition is different. It's intrinsic. So it is internal, things that happen inside of us. So once you become a mom, you have different feelings about having the baby. So, and that takes time to catch up with what is external. So that's what I work with my clients on around transitions.
Moms actually have this thing about guilt. So when does this guilt thing come in during the transition phase?
It's a very interesting question because I myself am a mom, and I know that without us realizing it, guilt has crept into our lives, especially around our kids. And I would say that it would have already happened even when we're pregnant. What to eat,
Oh,
how do
okay.
we rest, and all of that.
Right.
But that is still not very pronounced. So we don't really. It's because the child is not in front of us, so we sometimes don't pay attention to that. But once the baby is born, something inside actually switch and change because now our identity has changed and morphed and is now transitioning to becoming a mom.
Mhm.
So, and this skill comes from the fact that honestly it comes from something really good. We love our kids. We want
Right.
the best for them and we want to be the best mom for them. And so when we think, so look at the use of words now, when we think that we're not doing good enough, guilt
Mhm.
comes.
Right. So, and you mentioned that it actually happens even when we were pregnant. So we won't
Yes.
really even know about it, that it's actually
Mhm.
creeping in. And right. Okay. So what are the usual challenges that moms that come to you during this transition phase? I mean, do they actually come to you when they're pregnant or after the baby's born? And what do they usually say?
So most of my clients who come to me is after the child has been born. There's really a general struggle between home and work. So there's this life work um, tension that happens because as we become mothers, we do have an additional person or area of our life that we do need to look after, which is our kids. Most of the moms who come to me, they are, like you said, working, as well as that transformation between a working woman and a working mom, that causes a little bit of tension, as I mentioned. So what happens to the woman is that at work, you are not your 100% because you're thinking about the child at home. And while at home, you're also not 100% because you're thinking about the deadline for tomorrow. So that tension between work and life is very common in as a challenge in a lot of my clients. The other thing is also that they don't know what good looks like. So they may want to strive for perfection. So in striving for that perfection, they run themselves ragged. So that's another challenge to try to be the best mom or the best working woman they can be. And that sometimes can cause a lot of stress and undue pressure that they put on themselves in trying to make sure that they are perfect in every way.
And are they mostly working moms, or do you also have your share of stay at home and work at home moms?
I do have a few stay-at-home and work-at-home moms. There's a lot of most women that I work with are actually working
Okay.
either full-time or in some capacity as well.
Right. Then you help them find that balance and maybe reduce the tension. Because when people ask me, oh, so you get rid of mom guilt, I say we can never get rid of mom guilt. It's always there in different ways and different forms. And so I guess it's more of reducing the tension, right? Two good advice that you can give the working moms who are watching this and having all this guilt inside and the tension is so strong. So what are the two tips or advice that you will actually give them?
I think the first thing is to cut ourselves some slack. We're doing the best we can, and the practice of self-compassion is quite important, so that we do look after ourselves. We want to make sure that we are in the best form when we are looking after our kids, knowing that we are not ever going to be perfect will release us from that bond of trying to be one.
Right.
The second one is something that I hold preciously to that epiphany when I realized that as my kids grow up, my eldest is 22 now. So the thing is, it's about the long view. It's not about them not eating enough vegetable today or eating junk or behaving not so politely to an elder yesterday. It's not really about that. If we look at the long view, which is we're actually growing adults, we're not growing children. So if we think about what kind of adult we would like them to become, that will guide us in our path rather than worrying about the little things that really doesn't matter in the big picture. So I would love to tell mothers out there, please look at the long view. Some of these small things, if the clothes are not ironed, it's fine. They are going to be just as happy growing up.
Right, that's a very good tip. Thanks so much, Sam. Yeah, it's sometimes we know, but you just cannot take it because we have our own values and beliefs and skeletons in the closet that comes in and it just helps. Okay, great. So let's talk about your book. Congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
I've yet to get my hand on it, but I'll do so soon, very soon. So just share with us what is it about and what prompted you to actually say, Sam, I need to write a book? Yeah.
So as I transitioned from a corporate career to becoming a woman's life coach, I felt like there was a personal desire to write a book. That's my first reason. So it's almost like a personal challenge that I wanted to do it. And second one is really, I realized that there's not a lot of resources out there for women going through different transitions in their life, and there are many. And becoming a mom is just one of them. What helped me in my own transition was truly being able to think through my situation, reframe it, and I did a lot of journaling. And I realized this was lacking in some of my clients' arsenal of tools. So having this book will help them to really look at their own situation, and you don't have to read the book cover to cover, especially. So whenever you feel like you are going through a transition, is to look at the story inside, see how you can reframe it. There are some quick tips that you can use to immediately get yourself out of perhaps feeling a little bit sad. And really, there's a last section which is of the story, which is a reflection space. So there are some questions there that will help you to think deeper and further into how do I then manage this transition. A lot of the times, they perhaps may not be able to access resources that can help them, or they might feel not comfortable with going to a therapist or a coach for help. So a book like that, which is quite convenient, it's also available in the library, in ebooks and in paperback, is that you can flip open to any of the stories and that is aligned with your own transition, and have a read, have a think about how do you want to reframe your situation, and journal some of your thoughts and feelings around that. And I find that that is a great resource for a lot of my clients as they do a little bit of rethink as well as a bit of journaling. So that's why I thought this might be a good resource for a lot of my clients or potential clients as well.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you have areas for journal writing, you know.
Yes.
Sometimes you read something and then you have some thoughts. It's a good,
Mm.
and it becomes your personal guidebook to this thing.
That's right. That's right.
So thanks, Sam. Thanks for coming on board today. It was a pleasure chatting with you. And
Thank you.
all the best for the sale of your new book.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.